you told me there was a bit of a dark side to LA. Would you mind telling us about that, Dee?
I mean, I feel like we all hear about it and it's not really that much of a shock. But yeah, a few things sort of happened. It's just dodgy shit, like, you know, directors trying to take advantage, or just people pretending to have commercials or jobs they want to cast you for and lure you in and try to take advantage, I guess. Yeah, one of the ones that I was telling you about was that Doritos commercial for the Super Bowl. The director was pretty much going out of his way to pick me up by about an hour and a half, 2 hours. You know, in Australia, kind of give each other lifts to work. It's friendly behavior.
Yeah.
Over there, it's not really that known. Unless you know the guy and you're friends, yeah, that doesn't happen. So, and the fact that he was going so far out of his way too was kind of a red flag. And, you know, he casted me for the role, and I sort of said to him, you know, what's the breakdown? What's the costume? And the first thing he said to me was, you're basically, you know, in a tie up top walking down a deserted dirt road. I want you in a really big bra. I was like, wait, what? Why a big bra? I was thinking some inflatable balloon thing. He goes, yeah, the bigger the boobs, the better. I'm like, what the hell? This just got really weird. And he sent me this photo of himself. It was really creepy. He basically had like a cigar in his mouth and beer, like real overweight, not too happy looking guy. And just kind of took the photo and sent it. And no, this is way too creepy. And so I sort of told him, you know, like, I remained professional, and I said, look, I've come down with a stomach flu. I can't stop throwing up. I'm not going to be able to make it. And basically he just abused me and sent me. That was a good way to see that he dodged a bullet, I think, in that one.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And like, so it was in a remote area too, is that the case?
Yeah, he wanted to film it. Like, fair enough, you want a dirt road, but yeah, it was just the whole thing, getting in a car with a stranger, going out in the middle of nowhere. There were quite a few red flags on that one, and that was
warning, Will Rogers, danger.
Yeah. Don't swim in between the flags, you got to avoid them. And that was like the first month I was over there. And I was, about 22 at the time. So that was kind of ripped the Band-Aid off sort of, and what it was all about. And
well, see, that's the thing too. I mean, your guts always know. Like, if that spider sense is tingling, you really got to listen to it. And that's something I tell my
trust intuition, definitely. Yeah.
I always tell my daughters that. Seriously, that's a massive bullet dodge.
Yeah. Like, first month of being over there. So it was just random shit that would happen. You know, I'd be walking down the street, went and got like a takeaway coffee, and be walking sort of back to the apartment, and this, you know, big expensive black SUV would pull over, and this guy was like, hey, you want a lift? You know, no, I'm fine. He's like, oh, I can give you a lift. So he was basically, he's like, look, here's my ID, you can trust me. But as he pulled out his ID, he also had this big like wad of cash next to it. Like, he was offering me money to get in the car, prostitution or something. I was like, what the hell? Like, no, go away. Like, make sure he doesn't follow you home, and sort of, you know, make sure he keeps driving before you turn down where you live, and keep an eye out that he doesn't sort of go around the block the next few days, and just creepy stuff like that. You've got to be on edge for, I guess, and keep an eye out for.
I've only spent a short amount of time in America. I got to say, I love the place.
Yeah.
You know, my experiences over there were magnificent, and I kind of get angry with people, especially my middle daughter, who I know will probably listen to this, when she's always running down America. And I go, dude, you just don't know. You haven't even been there. And the amount of American citizens that you've met, you could, you know, count on one hand for you to kind of categorize an entire nation because of the ridiculous things that you see on television.
Well, Americans, are really friendly. That was one thing that surprised me, is that they will kill you with kindness. They'll have you over for dinner and shower you with gifts, and very, very kind. Well, the ones I met anyway. You do have your ones, of course, that like in any country you're gonna get annoyed at, but for the most part, very friendly people.
Yeah, we got a fair share of yobbos, idiots, and weirdos too, believe me. We've got weirdos. Our weirdos are weirder than your weirdos. you didn't make it big time over there, but you were definitely on the, and what kind of stopped you was COVID and visa, I
Yeah,
understand.
visas were like working visas were just delayed by about, 6 to 8 months. You still had to pay like, your five grand USD just to apply. So it wasn't, yeah, it's pretty expensive. And that's like a maybe, that's not a guarantee. Yeah, so you could lose that money and get told not. And then, waiting for 8 months to get your visa approved. So, it was just with the administration at the time, it was very difficult for even like returning workers to get it processed. There was a delay. I was entitled to a work card as well. So, right. And then COVID happened. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise that I came home when I did.
You're a country girl from Mareeba and you've caught this bug. So how did you get from, tell us first what inspired you? Like why acting? And then the process to getting over there to Los Angeles.
I was a big Dark Angel fan, Alias, loved James Bond. So these are all when I was, in primary school. And I always loved to watch the shows that had like that really strong female lead. And I always remember saying, I want to do that. I want their job, this is what I want to do. In terms of how I'm going to do that, that was a big mystery at the time. I enrolled down in New South Wales at a uni. So I did a Bachelor of Arts, acting to screen and stage. So that was like a 3 years bachelor degree. And then from there, I took off to America, packed 2 suitcases and booked a hotel for 2 weeks. And yeah, lucky I got out of the hotel within 4 days, found a place to live, found a job, which was a cafe associated with a cooking school. And then sort of within the month, I was manager of the cafe because, Americans don't really know how to make coffee. So it was espresso coffee because they're big regular coffee drinkers, which is just, your black coffee. The espresso, yeah, was kind of new at the time. So yeah, I did really well to start with.
And you picked up some roles too. Like one of the short films that I've watched you in was The Sweetening. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was a pretty short role. I only had like a line or 2 in it. But yeah, Grace did really well. She won a few awards I was working in the cafe it was shot at. That was the cafe I was the manager of. So a couple of the crew were kind of regulars that would come in because where the cafe was, it was situated in Culver City. So that's kind of where all the studios are. So you'd get a lot of filmmakers, producers and whatnot coming in. And our cafe was really nice, like with the lighting, nice big windows sort of things. Being an actress and being a barista and working at the place sort of ticked all the boxes. So just jump into a lot of like commercials or short films that were filmed there. So
to give people the briefest of your resume, so you've done some short films, you've done some commercials and also some film clips for music. Isn't that the case?
Yeah, so some music videos, some commercial short films, indie films, sort of films and that sort of thing.
Enough, is it just a little bit of pocket money or was it enough to kind of cover some bills here and there?
Oh, look, it wasn't enough to retire on, but it definitely helped you make your relationships and your circle. And then they recommend you for another one, which is paid. So you really got to start from scratch and not expect a big payout in your first job because it's not.
Yeah, right down the bottom of that ladder.
Yeah, so there was a lot of free jobs as well that I'm bored with. Being LA, everyone's always creating something. It's a really good place to be with that creative industry. So yeah, as long as you don't sort of go there expecting to be rich and famous, I feel like you've got a much better attitude and a much better chance of sort of getting your foot in the door. Like you've got to start from zero. Yeah.
What other barriers did you kind of overcome?
Well, having to work, full time at minimum wage just to pay rent, quite a barrier because you want time to, go to your acting school and go to the auditions and prepare for the auditions and then go to that premiere where you're going to meet having sort of the time and the energy and also being able to pay rent and eat was probably one of the bigger barriers. Another one would probably be sometimes they're not looking for an Australian, so you've got to be able to pull off a US.
Okay, you got to do it. Come on.
No,
Do the
no,
Seppo
no.
accent. Come on, Lisa. Do this. Pull out the Seppo accent.
So, like, what do you want me to say? Yeah, when I was over there, I was really adapting, just naturally picking it up. And I was in accent reduction classes and sort of, yeah.
So what do you do? Do you position your tongue or like what do you?
Yeah, each vowel is, there's different vowels and different, movements and facial, yeah. It's depending where you are too. So LA's got one accent, up north's got another accent, and then southern's got another accent again. So yeah, LA sort of was the generic. Dial your accent down a bit when you went for the audition, so that because if they know you're Australian, they're going to be listening for it. So when you do your audition, your reading, and then you'd say goodbye in a full thick Australian accent. And it was kind of go, what? That was really good, yeah. But yeah, if you go in there Australian, they know already and they start to try to listen to it. But if they think you're American, they don't sort of,
Wow.
Don't try to hear it.
Okay.
That's one thing that I learned, kind of.
And so obviously it's not helpful to have it then, that being the implication.
I mean, it is because they love our accent as well. So it's always a good sort of socializing point. But yeah, in terms of getting your acting work over there, you've got to know how to sort of tone it down a bit and switch it off.
It was really funny. I saw an interview with either McConaughey or Hanks, and both of them are Southerners, I think. And Hanks was talking about him having to moderate his accent like for American roles. And I remember, this is going back years ago, I watched the interview, and I remember thinking to myself, moderate your accent? You're a Yank. Like, what are you talking about? But you're right, there are these different, distinct, and not just accents, actually, dialect as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would imagine that he would have had to have done that. Local girl come good over in LA, dodging the nasty
scary people. Yeah, I left out the story where one director wanted me to get naked, but we're kidding.
Can you tell that one?
It's actually pretty funny. It was an audition online, and a meeting like this, like a Zoom call, and they're talking, and experience, how you're available, blah 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 blah. And he's like, okay, so there's a bit of implied nudity or whatever. I'm gonna have to get naked. What do you mean, like now? He's like, yeah, I need to see what you look like. How dumb do you think I am? Like, he's probably recording it or something as well. It's like, no one asked. Yeah, don't get naked on webcam.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna get you. So I actually wasted about 10-15 minutes of this guy's time. I pretended it froze, like a computer froze. So I just kind of, for like 10 to 15 minutes. And the whole time I was like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And then after 50 minutes, I went, hello. Oh, I've lost you.
Girls, if you're out there, big takeaway, don't nude up on webcam. No nudity on webcam, okay? Doesn't matter who they say they are. No, don't get your gear off for any blokes.
He's like, yeah, I need to see you before I cast. It's implied. What do you need to see? Like, even the whole, it was just, you get you creepy people like that. It was just,
I mean, we laugh, but there would have been clearly the fact that these people are doing that. It's a figures game. If 1 in 10 go, all right, like, hey, mission accomplished for these weirdos and creeps.
Yeah, it's not a good thought to think they've got footage of vulnerable girls like that. But
yeah, I mean, we're kind of just laughing at the absurdity of it. But you're right. Like, there are Yeah, and clearly we're not laughing about that. That's not
No,
funny. But like
no.
but you know, you're right. It'd be out there and it's floating around, and God.
Mm.
Well, I mean, the lighter note is you sort of came through that, and you were. I mean, from what I've seen, and I've really researched this, Lisa. And you know, you were on the ladder. That, you know, the kind of like beginning rungs of the ladder. Let's be honest, but definitely on that ladder, and with the ability that you showed, I think you probably could have ended up making a quid out of it. And
Yeah.
we've gone through that, and you're just a Mareeba girl there. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and who you are?
All right. Well, born in Mareeba, which is North Queensland, just up the tablelands of Cairns. So yeah, I live here with my parents at the moment in 65 acres. So nice rural country area. Good for COVID lockdowns, you know, go for a run around the paddock. My parents own the local gun shop here. So I grew up, around guns, but either at the Mareeba, like rifle club. So we supply like a lot of the farmers, police officers, detectives, you know, ammunition and things like that. So I've recently actually just made the short film, Lindy Lou. Well, it's not a short film anymore, actually.
I was going to lead us in, but let's
sorry,
dive right in. No, tell me.
Well, it kind of ties in with the previous question, because Lindy Lou kind of comes off a lot of sort of my life and experience. So I made this feature film called Lindy Lou, and I sort of took the gun shop and I made it like a multi-million-dollar empire. Sort of slightly exaggerated it. So I made the family kind of like a socialite family. So you think of like Paris Hilton, you know, Packers, that sort of thing. So they're known in the media. It's a generational empire, so that sort of thing. Very F&Q based, a lot of rural themes throughout the film. And so the film kind of takes place after a tragedy. So I play Lindy Lou, and you don't know what the tragedy is. It unfolds. You know, it's very dark comedy humor, a little bit violent, but a lot of sort of drug themes. Yeah, just sort of the contrast between pro-gun, people that are legal, you know, with licensed guns, and then the black market side of things. So that's sort of, you know, where the crime is really, you know, bad right now. Well, not bad, but, you know, just the contrast between the two. Yeah.
But all right, so no spoilers, but it's totally FNQ based, and I understand that you've been working with a few other FNQ people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
When can we expect? Because I'm on the edge of my seat, just kind of thinking about it right now. When can we expect this Far North Queensland masterpiece to come out?
Well, the trailer's out now, so pretty proud of the way that came out. It just came out on Saturday. Everyone that worked on it is local. So we're really excited about that, because we really want to push the film industry up here in Cairns. I won the RADF grant, the 10 grand RADF grant. So that really got it on its feet, and we were able to employ some people and pay them to get started. And then all up, our budget, you know, in-kind donations and people that, you know, worked on the set was nearly 200 grand. So, you know, from only having 10 grand to people donating their time and, you know, equipment and wanting to work on the film, it worked up to be over 200 grand.
How did you make that happen? That's amazing.
Apparently I wrote a really good script.
Sorry?
And everyone wanted to be on board with it. Yeah, everyone got really excited, and we had over 65 people work and contribute to Lindy Lou. Yeah.
Wow.
From 10 grand. So, yeah, we did. Yeah, pretty much is still in disbelief that we achieved it, but we did.
Wow.
Really.
No, kudos to you. Like, you know, I've managed a couple of projects myself, and my God, that's seriously amazing. How long did it take, like from the I've got my hot little hands on this 10 grand to, I know it's still going now and it's still in the editing room, but how long did the casting and shooting take? Walk us through that.
Well, I got back sort of just 2009. So I'd written the script, and then I didn't. So I got back from LA, and I didn't know anyone sort of in Cairns. I was like, is there even a film community up here? How am I going to make this film? You know, I just kind of thought we'd just make it in our spare time on the weekend, sort of thing. And then I sort of got in contact with one filmmaker that then got me in contact with another one, which was Anthony Ring, the director and co-producer as well. And then, you know, he gets a lot of scripts across his desk, and he sort of, you know, just looked at mine and went, oh yeah, some girl will come back from LA, whatever. And he read it and was like, okay, this is really good. If we're going to make this, we're going to do this properly. Like, we're getting funding for it because this has the potential to be something. So I was kind of, oh, okay. There goes my idea of just making it on the weekend, some cheap thing. So then basically that whole year was about casting, table reads, and then applying for the funding. So we failed. The application was third time lucky. So yeah, we missed out twice, and third time we got it. So, and it comes every 6 months. So yeah, so we don't really count 2020 because everything was just frozen, including funding and that sort of thing. So end of 2020, we finally won the 10 grand of funding from Cairns. So it was a nice Christmas present. And then we started filming in January, and I'm pretty sure we finished in about September. So we did most of it during school holidays because a lot of, you know, everyone works full time. So we did a lot of it either school holidays or weekends, just depending on people's availability, scene by scene, about 16 scenes. So just kind of knocked it out bit by bit. And then we decided to do a music video as well. So we did that and that did really well. So yeah, it took about 9 months of filming, touch wood, no more reshoots. And we're about halfway through the edit. So we're in post-production. We just finished off the trailer. We've finished the music video, that's all out. So yeah, we're about halfway through editing the scenes. Got a bit of work to go, but yeah, I'm looking back on it, you know, we've achieved a lot in terms of just any problem that we thought was going to be really hard to overcome. We overcome. Yeah, we just did it. It was just, we just found solutions and we just got through it.
What are we looking at, July?
I want to say early next year, March, April.
Ooh. And how are we going to launch it? Like, is there going to be local cinema stuff and what?
Yeah, we'll do a Cannes screening. So we'll have like a, you know, red carpet party. Definitely. Maybe a cake. And sort of, yeah, then we'll pitch it to sort of talking to one of the directors of ABC last year, and he was pretty keen to see the end product. It's got, even though it's a standalone film, it is also a pilot. So it has the potential to be made into like a little 6-episode miniseries. So if ABC want to pick it up and do a miniseries, yeah.
Wow.
Potential to be rewritten and filmed again.
Girls with guns. But I'm not giving too much away when I say it's got you with a with one of the old cowboy style lever action rifles.
At the start, that's 22. Yeah, that's my gun actually.
Oh, is it? All
yeah,
right.
yeah. So that's a Henry 22 lever action. Yeah. So of course you've got, you know, your legal black weapons. So Lindy Lou kind of, you know, has gotten herself into a bit of trouble, and she's really trying to stay straight, but without giving too much away, there's a nice little surprise for her left in her car, and got to figure out what to do with it. So I think you'll probably see some things in the trailer as like a C4 brick and cocaine, which was quite fun. You know, I'm also the props department, so I was making them. Googling how to make cocaine bricks and C4 bricks was an experience.
Well, I've got to say, and considering it's local, it's you know, it's garnered some interest, and it's one of those things where you've just decided to do it and made it happen. Those are the stories that I'm finding are really resonating with people incidentally. It's like you've got someone at point A, and it's like, I've got this dream. I have no idea of what to do to make it happen. But you just take that first step, and because you can't plan for every contingency, you can't see every problem that you're going to have. And just as it comes, you just kind of like knock on through and
yeah, definitely.
And 200.
Well, definitely just got a lot bigger than anticipated. You know, from, oh yeah, we'll just film it, you know, our spare time, to 65 people, you know, over 200 grand budget, off 10 grand. And yeah, the ball just kept rolling and bigger, and we've inspired another young local musician. So we're actually doing a second music video, which will also be featured in the film as well.
Awesome.
So the first music video by Pat will be the end credit song. But yeah, got the ball rolling, and we've inspired another local artist. So yeah, we've got another song coming.
Oh, that is so cool. I just decided, you know, I'm going to go to, I've watched some TV, and now I'm going to get myself a degree and go off to LA and kind of come home and come good. What a cool story.
Good to have life experience. Right off your own experience, I guess, you know, bad taste in men, and chop it all together.
But I got to say, the fact that women have bad taste in men is something that's really kind of benefited me personally. I mean, I wouldn't be married with children otherwise. Like, you know, my poor long-suffering wife, thank God that she has really, really bad taste in men. And arguably it goes back to Eve, if you think of, you know, what a douchebag Adam was, really. Throwing her under the bus after the whole unfortunate Apple incident. I mean, what a dirtbag. It was her. She gave me the... What a win.
On the couch and told her to pick him for him.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Bring me dinner.
Bring me dinner, woman. Yeah.
I hope she threw it at his head.